Welcome back to the shop. This week we're going to be doing a 2,000 mile update on this KTM 1090 Adventure R. I'll be sharing with you the good, the bad, the ugly, and my overall impressions so far with this motorcycle now that I've had an opportunity to do some more miles in a variety of different conditions. I just wanted to take a moment though and thank everyone who's watching, thank everyone who's subscribing. That really helps us out and it's greatly appreciated. The Africa Twin video, where we compared the Africa Twin to the KTM 1090, was extremely popular. So for those of you that are looking for more Africa Twin footage, be sure to hit that subscribe button because we'll have more videos coming soon. In fact, we're going to have a video on the Africa Twin, taking apart the plastics and hardwiring a GPS, as well as potentially adding in a review of the DCT version of the Africa Twin. So again, if you're looking for those, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And as always, if you like this video, be sure to give it that thumbs up and share it on social media. Let's get started. I now have over 2,000 miles on this bike, and let's start with the bad things first. Before I took delivery of the motorcycle, you might know if you've watched the previous videos, the dealership had to replace the first fuel pump, the original one that came in the motorcycle, and they had to do that because of a recall that KTM had issued on the 1090 Adventure R. Subsequently, when I took the motorcycle back to the dealership for the 600 mile service, there was another update to the fuel pump, so they performed that same fuel pump replacement a second time. So this is actually now fuel pump number 3, the one that the bike shipped with, the one that they replaced before I took delivery, and then the one that they replaced at the 600 mile service. Now it should be noted that I've never had a problem and I've had no failures with the fuel pump. They were just recalls that were issued and they replaced the part. So we'll continue to monitor that and see how it goes. But again, I want to share all of the good, bad, and ugly with you guys. While we're on the topic of 600 mile service, that's probably one of the other bad things. I did take it back to the dealership. There's not really a need to. It is a simple oil change and then some overall inspections. But generally speaking, I personally just like to take them back to the dealer for that first 600 mile service. I'll gladly pay a little bit extra just in case there's a warranty claim or something like that that comes up later on. There can't be any arguments or dispute around the 600 mile service. So I elected to do that, but that is an expensive service. At the dealership, it was about $500 to $600. I don't remember the exact amount, but it was somewhere between $500 and $600 for that 600 mile service. And again, that really is just an oil change and then an overall inspection of the motorcycle and everything checked out okay. So they really didn't have to do any subsequent work other than the fuel pump recall, which was covered under the KTM warranty, and then the oil and filter change that was done on the motorcycle as part of that service. One other issue that I have had, and it was a brief issue and I haven't done anything to resolve it. It kind of cleared itself, but I want to make you guys aware of it. Again, it's something to keep in mind if you're looking at purchasing one of these. I stopped at a gas station on my way for the Michigan ride, and after fueling up with fuel, I stopped to adjust the GPS. I shut the motorcycle off. When I started it back up, I got a general fault. I don't know exactly what that means. It came up on the dash. I power cycled the motorcycle. So ignition key off, back on, restarted the motorcycle. The message did not come back and has not come back since. So I'm not quite sure what that is. We'll be keeping an eye on it. And if anything develops, I will be sure to let you guys know. Staying on the topic of the bad things, there is one other item that I'd like to mention. I posted this if you follow us on Instagram. You might have already seen the pictures of this, but basically what I've done is I've replaced the top rack from the 1090 with the top rack from the 1290. The 1290 comes with a metal rack. The 1090 comes with a composite rack. That composite rack broke in the first 500 or so miles. Now, in its credit, I will say that it was while I was towing another motorcycle out of a muddy situation, and it was the tow rope that actually was over the corner. However, since it cracked, I wasn't going to replace it with another composite one. Obviously, now that I've added that, it is additional weight over the base spec. So one thing to keep in mind is that as these things get added to this motorcycle that the 1290 comes with stock, you are adding weight, which is then closing that gap in terms of the base weight of the 1090 versus the 1290. With the top rack out of the way, that pretty much concludes any of the bad things that I've had so far with this motorcycle in the 2,000 miles. Moving on to the positives. After 2,000 miles, I can say that all of my initial impressions continue to improve and get better with this motorcycle the more time I spend on it. the previous comments that I made about the balance of it, the throttle control, the power delivery, those all just continue to impress me to no end. Now that it's past the break-in period, I've had an opportunity to actually get this thing into the higher RPMs, and boy, I tell you, once you get it up there, you really recognize the 125 horsepower that this bike has, and it will put a smile on your face. The suspension adjustments are great for when you're running fully loaded. You can quickly and easily adjust the rear shock to carry the extra load, or if you're going to be dropping them like I did on the Michigan trip, I rode with them on the way up there, and then I dropped them at the campground and rode the rest of the time up there with them off. So having that quick adjustment is a really nice feature to have. Again, the suspension remains an absolute standout feature on this motorcycle in a variety of conditions, from gravel and fire roads to two-track. It's just handled phenomenally well. I'm going to have an opportunity this weekend to take it to an ORV park, so that'll give me a chance to try it out in more single tracks and bigger hill climbs, things like that. So I'll keep you guys posted as that progresses, and I'll try to get some footage of that for you. The seat, which was an initial complaint and still is in terms of its comfort level, it is not as comfortable as my Tiger 800 seat was. However, after doing the 5.5-hour ride up to Michigan and then the 5.5-hour ride back, it is comfortable enough. I don't feel any pain when I get off the motorcycle, so I doubt I'm going to change anything there. The TKC 80s that came on this bike, I'm absolutely loving them for the off-road conditions. However, I will say again, after making those longer journeys, they do wear out really quickly, and I'm contemplating whether or not I will keep TKC 80s as my replacement tire for this motorcycle, or if I might switch back to the K60 Scouts, which I've used in the past. They're not quite as good off-road, but boy, they sure do last a lot longer. In about 2,000 miles, the rear is starting to show some wear. In terms of general failures, flaws, big expenses, none of that have occurred in the 2,000 miles, so I am happy to report that at this point in time. It is one of the things that makes me a little bit nervous about this motorcycle, given the level of electronics are on it. Luckily, one of the things that I am happy about when my decision to go with this versus the 1290 is there are some reported problems with the key fob and things like that, or the TFT display on the 1290s, which I don't have either of those items on the 1090. So other than the general fault message, there's been no electronic gremlins up to this point. Knock on wood, hopefully that will stay the same. If it does change, again, I will update you guys. That pretty much covers it for our 2,000 mile update. Again, I will be featuring this bike in future videos, trying to get you guys an even greater overall impression of how it handles other conditions as I have an opportunity to experience them. But again, the bike continues to impress me. I'm extremely happy with it. Everything that I had in terms of a first impression continues to get better and better as time goes on. So I'm really, really excited about this motorcycle. I'm excited to take it on the Colorado trip. That will be probably the biggest test that I'll have with this machine. It is the Colorado BDR, and that's going to include some pretty hardcore terrain. It's also going to be over the course of 6 days, so it's going to test the reliability of this motorcycle, and we'll continue to track those things. And if I run into anything, I will be more than happy to share it with you guys, even if it is something negative or bad. I'm always going to give you my honest opinion and review and keep you updated with the progress of this motorcycle. Once again, we do have those other videos coming. We're getting a good backlog of content that you guys are asking for going, but please continue to fill that backlog up. Continue to put the comments in the comment section below, and if there are specific topics, we'll be sure to cover those. I mentioned earlier that we'll have some additional Africa Twin videos coming. In addition, we'll be responding to a request for some additional details on these bags, both the small and large tusk panniers, showing them on the bike and taking some measurements, so that's also in the works. And then we still have not forgotten about our GPS series. There is number 4 coming with that too. So yet again, if you haven't already, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell for the notifications to be notified when our videos are uploaded. If you haven't already, please jump over to Instagram, Facebook, all those social medias that we have posted on our channel, and follow us over there too. You'll start to get some of the pictures and things that happen in between these videos being created. So with all of that said, as always, thank you for watching. Take care and ride safe.